Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits podcast. We didn't even realize our last episode was episode 100. So thank you guys for supporting us. Garrett, you have any words of wisdom for episode? Yeah, we can clap it out.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. It's been an up and down journey ever since we started. We got yelled at for a few months for not posting, but we're here. We're here nonetheless.
Yeah, we are here and everything. We have a fantastic guest today. One of our friends, Alex with ACFlips. How he went 0 to full-time online arbitrage across like 18 months, a year and a half, like a little bit around that, like we said, and everything. But a guy I really like talking to. We're on the same wavelength arbitrage wise. See you in a lot of the roadmap calls, which is a good time. And I'll let Burton talk on your story, strategies for online arbitrage. Definitely everyone check out Alex's content. He puts out a lot of good stuff as well. We'll have all that linked and everything. But thanks for joining us. You want to give us a little bit of your background story and all that?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I remember watching the podcast like a long, I was watching like beginning episodes, binge watching. Now it's cool to like, be on the podcast. So
that's an OG listener. We actually get a couple of those. We had someone else a couple episodes ago who told us that he was watching the beginning and now it's the book, the 7-figure book guy. And regardless, sorry, continue.
Yeah. No. It was like some of the starter content that I started with and then kind of got the ball rolling. So yeah, I started on selling on eBay. I would go to probably right after I graduated college in like 2018, 2019, I started I found some YouTubers that I would watch that they lived in big cities, but they'd go to like Goodwills all around town.
Yeah.
And then they would flip on eBay and I'm like, wow, that's sweet, So I was working full-time job, I had got an engineering job right out of college. And then on the side, I'd go to Goodwill after work and then try to flip. But, there's not a lot of stuff and it's hit or miss. You could go find like a bunch of stuff. You could find nothing. So it's kind of just a slow scale. And then I also, I was doing that for like a year and a half. And I remember my 2020 goal for eBay was I wrote it down and I write goals every year. And that was like, I want to hit 10,000 in sales on eBay for the year. And then I think I hit that goal and then kind of picked up on Amazon. I found some content on Amazon in 2021, right at the beginning. So I started, it was a slow, year, but I think I did like 10,000 in 1 month by December, which was awesome, compared to, the goal I set for eBay the year before. And then basically, 2022 was a lot of growth for Amazon. And then in August of this last year, I ended up quitting my engineering job for full-time Amazon, which was really awesome. And then just been a grind ever since, I feel like I'm working more than I was.
And earning more, on a better schedule. I assume liking it more too.
Oh man, the freedom of the schedule is great. I can, wake up when I want. I can, do things middle of the day that I wouldn't normally be able to do. I can plan when I want to do things. I don't have to, report up to anybody. There's a lot of good about it.
Yeah. And that's the best part is you get to do it with your friends too. Like it sounds like such a kid saying it, but it's fun. It makes money. I get to do it with my friends. Like what more could a man ask for,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's like in the engineering's like, there's just a lot of hard concepts and all that. I mean, Amazon's, there's hard parts about it, but it's just more fun, it's like you're finding flips. I don't know. It's just, I've always had a knack for that ever since, back in the eBay days and flipping. So it's just more fun to me. And it's a lot more motivating to like want to, scale this part of it instead of, kind of being stuck in a 9-to-5, not growing as fast.
So take us through that lead up to the inevitable decision of you leaving engineering, because first and foremost, right, obviously engineering is a fairly high paying career, right? So you had sort of that income replacement on your mind, but also the lead up of, your wife buying in, the whole concept of inevitably leaving. Take us through that.
Yeah. So I've kind of been, I guess, ever since college, like I got, to my last semester, I actually started a business with a friend, a different like social media marketing, tried that out. So I kind of had the entrepreneurial itch and like wanted to do my own thing since college. And then we actually started another business together and did that for like up until last year. And that was like an actual product-based business. And so I'm like, I was looking for something to like, you know, be able to go all in on and maybe have that be my steady income instead. So my wife's kind of been on board with like the long grinding on a business, like since, you know, college, basically. We've been together since high school, actually. So she's kind of seen the whole, you know, kind of been accepting and supportive of the whole, you know, making entrepreneurship my main gig. And then kind of like all summer, I was like on the cusp, like, when do I quit? You know, do I, you know, at what point? And then I kind of was projecting my sales. I'm like, man, if I'm putting in like maybe 20 hours a week after work, you know, I was working my 40 hours and putting in extra hours. And I'm like, if I could just double, you know, basically if I quit and went all in, like my sales would just, you know, hockey stick. And that's kind of what, I mean, that's basically what happened. I quit in August, and August was like kind of like getting used to the new schedule. But then September, I was putting in, you know, double the hours that I could before, and then sales started going up. And then I was definitely like, I'm glad I quit in August. I could have held off like maybe a few months, but then that like September, October, November lead up of like getting, you know, my systems down was like really helpful for like December, because that was pretty crazy month. So
Yeah, it's
So
nice. This is a good point, I think, G. Like, the more time you had available and just the free, like the headspace of not having to worry about the job, like it's not just that you had more time available, but the time that you had into it, it was more compressed, so it multiplied off itself, and that you were getting better faster because you were learning quicker because you had more time to put into available. So each additional unit of time multiplied off itself, so that like the curve hit a lot quicker, I assume. And like everyone sees that, like, you know, once you're putting more time into it and stuff, like you're learning quicker. Cause like I assume that was probably pretty close around when you started the IG page and everything too.
yeah, it's right around when because I was listening to you guys, like how important the networking is, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I got time, I can use this to scale and maybe add it to a part of the business. So yeah, that was started posting pretty consistently, and now I'm on a pretty good schedule,
Oh,
you
of
know,
course.
throughout
Yeah,
my day. So
for sure.
So let's talk about the cash flow part, right? Because a lot of people starting out are buying all these profitable products, but don't necessarily know how much the business is making, how much they're potentially making, how much they could even take out of the business. So how did that look like for you? Did you hire a bookkeeper who kind of worked things through for you? How did it work the months leading up to inevitably leaving, and saying, okay, so this is how much my business is making. This is how much I can take as a salary and continue to grow from that.
yeah, so I think I got a bookkeeper like beginning of 2022. So I had like good books, and I, you know, I was keeping track of it myself the year before, but like my books were pretty solid for 2022. So I had a good idea on like my cost of goods sold, and, you know, how much I was, you know, putting away towards or putting at during the different categories. So I was, I think in like August or July, I was like at a point where I'm like, the business was profiting as much, if not a little bit more than what my engineering salary was. And then, but I, you know, I wasn't paying myself any, it was basically going all back into the business. And then, I started, or like once I quit, I was like, okay, I know my sales will, my profit will easily surpass, you know, what my engineering salary was. And then how much am I going to pay myself there? So I actually read the book, Profit First.
Oh
I've heard a
no,
couple
no,
people.
no, no.
I've
Give
heard,
us,
yeah, a
so
couple
what's
people
profit?
talk
What's
about.
profit first? Give us the lowdown. Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, well, it's a great book. I mean, I read it really fast. It was a easy read, but it's like kind of, you know, it gives you a good like starting point to like where you can pay yourself. And yeah, so then I kind of like my payouts weren't just like all going towards like paying off a credit card and like just kind of guessing like where I need to allocate money. It's like actually, you know, giving myself, and it's more like it wasn't, you know, I'm was able to allocate before the book, but then understanding like, okay, I can actually pay myself more than I thought. And yeah, it's just a good, like, if you're really looking to pay yourself, even if you're not full-time, I think it's still a decent read to just get a starting point of like, if you're completely clueless on how to pay yourself or how much you should be paying yourself to still pay off expenses. Yeah, it's a good, you know, mindset shift in that sense.
And are you open to sharing your percentages of where the payouts go?
Sure. Yeah, I think right now I'm currently at like 70% is expenses. Maybe like 10 to 15, it's kind of fluctuating, is paying myself. And then there's like, the rest of it goes to profit and tax.
Do you do like the bank accounts too?
Yeah, I went all in. I got like the four bank
It
accounts.
helps, bro.
Wait, you do? I can't
It
remember
is
if you
helpful.
do that too, Garrett.
It helps, yeah.
Yeah. Always call Garrett.
It's just a good visual. Yeah, you get multiple bank accounts, you put the money in and then it goes right out into wherever it needs to go. But it's yeah, it's good to see. I mean, maybe I won't always do that, or I'll have a pretty good idea and I can, because there are like fees and stuff for bank accounts, but whatever, minuscule. But yeah,
Did you
it's a good visual.
did you find the bookkeeper and kind of taught them profit first methodology, or did you use like the profit first resources to find the bookkeeper?
No, yeah, my bookkeeper had never heard of the book before or the systems.
Like, what's this crazy guy talking about?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
for all the listeners, right? This is a long running joke. Way back when we all met, Danny,
Yeah. Like,
yeah, Danny, myself, and Miles.
Rodriguez is
book.
laughing listening to this right now.
What's up? Oh, Rodriguez. Yeah.
Rodriguez is laughing listening to this right now.
Anyways, getting back to the more tactical side, how are you sort of finding your products? Is it OA wholesale? What's your strategy, and is that planning on changing?
Yeah, I'm strictly OA, so I just am doing everything online. I used to go into store, like when I first started Amazon, it was all retail arbitrage. And then again, I kind of ran into that roadblock of not having enough product. There's only so many Targets and Walmart clearance sections, in town. So kind of switched to OA, and that's kind of where I've been ever since. I would like to get into some wholesale. And I've been seeing your wholesale content, Garrett, but yeah, I don't know. I've always been good for me, and I still have a lot of room to scale the OA side of things. So, it's kind of like wholesale would just be, I think when I start to plateau OA, maybe get into wholesale, but it's not really a high priority. It's more just sticking to online arbitrage because there's so much that I really haven't even discovered there yet. So
yeah, very good point. And what were your December sales?
I almost hit the 100K. I was at like 97.
Cool. Yeah, good for you, man. And that's like that's what. So what was that compared to like 6 months ago? Like about double?
6 months ago, I was probably closer to like 30 or 40.
Sweet. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it was all the quitting and full time was all leading up to a solid December, and then getting to that is like kind of now I can see like the 100K. Like I have a better sense of how to get to that every month instead of before I was like, oh man, I'm barely getting 40K. You hit those high months, and then you kind of at least understand what it took to get there. Kind of use that in the future.
And is it that has Amazon exceeded your salary from the past gig, or is it just like it's better money, even though it might be less, or it's close to exceeding?
Oh, at this point, it's definitely exceeding by a good amount. So, yeah, I'm happy about it.
Cool, because like some of the listeners have like really good paying 9 to 5s. It might just like take up a lot of time, or it doesn't take up a lot of time. And I just love the idea of milking it as long as possible. Definitely, like Garrett, knows all about that and such as well, and everything. And then you're in Wisconsin, so decently high sales tax. Are you still doing everything yourself?
I was all of December, and basically up until like 2 weeks ago, I finally got a prep center in Montana, I believe. But yeah, we have 5.5% here, so that's a pretty big chunk to save. But yeah, I've been sending a lot of stuff to the prep center this month, which is taking a lot of the load off, because it was after December, it was like kind of just chaos I was prepping everything in my basement, and it's just stuff everywhere. I was not keeping things orderly, so I was happy to have some time to like kind of catch up with myself. But the prep center has been a big help for sure.
5.5 is really not bad though, compared to some of the other states that we see.
Yeah. I've heard that for sure.
Yeah, 0% and not doing the work is better though.
Oh, I mean, obviously.
Yeah,
so what's your plan to get to 200? If that's your goal? Obviously everyone's different.
Yeah, Yeah, 200 would be great. I think the prep center is going to open up a lot of time for me to just continue to source. I'm on a pretty good like I said, like capital allocation kind of phase right now where I'm paying off the credit cards and not like running into too many issues. Obviously I need to be able to like increase my spend goals to get to 200, and that's going to be probably something to navigate in the future. But yeah, the preps, I mean, I've been prepping my FBA shipments since the beginning, and I probably spend anywhere from like 12 to 18 to 20 hours a week just doing that. And that, I mean, that's so much time I could be sourcing. I mean, I do have a VA that, you know, finds leads for me, and I would like to get a couple more of them, maybe depending on, you know, I guess how I guess we'll see once the prep center is like, you know, full running, and how I kind of change my schedule there. If I can do just as good as, you know, multiple VAs, is it worth it? But yeah, that should be another way to get to that, you know, those higher sales numbers for sure.
And
Yeah.
how much do you think you're spending by cost per month? Or like how much did you spend in December and November?
I think I spent,
Probably around like 40, 50, something like that.
yeah, I was gonna say at least 45, somewhere around there, in December. November was probably a little bit less, but you know, all that spending towards the end of November carried right into
Yeah.
into
Yeah, I mean,
December, so.
mathematically speaking, the path to 200 is pretty simple, right? You add another, call it 50, 60,000 to your buy cost, to your spending on quality
Mhm.
profitable inventory, and you're there, right? You're doing everything right. You double that essentially, and that'll get you to where you need to be. Maj, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and for anyone listening, kind of going along with that, the longer you're doing it too, it's not just that you see more opportunity, but you also take more and more advantage of the opportunity that you do see. And
Yeah,
so, like we were actually, yeah, speaking of that, we didn't even bring up what we did over the weekend. Okay, we got a bunch of our Amazon seller friends together, basically in a house, and we bought a lot of stuff. But it was cool seeing like some of those dudes operate and everything. Are you going to Miami, by the way?
I am, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
pumped.
Cool. All right, cool. So we'll be linked up yeah, next month then. Fantastic. Yeah, anyone listening, check out MiamiSellersConference.com is the domain, I believe. Well, all three of us will be there. A whole bunch of other guests, probably honestly like close to like 30% of them, like the lifetime guests will be there as well. So definitely consider, if you're in the South Florida area, going to that as well. What does your family think of the Amazon stuff?
Yeah, they were a little, my parents at least are big proponents of like play it safe, you know, 9 to 5 is your way to, you know, retiring at 60, whatever. So they weren't a huge fan of me like quitting a good, you know, engineering job. But you know, I try to like, you know, talk about like how well it's doing in the sales, and you know, always saying, wow, I made, you know, $80 profit on one item and I sold 10 of them, you know, stuff like that. So they're more accepting now, but yeah, it took a little convincing in the beginning.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, they want what's best for you, but you know, it's on you to obviously, anyone listening, do the numbers to wake them up and such. But yeah, it's tough to conceptualize working really hard for 10, but then like 10 years. But most people would rather just work hard for 40 rather than work super hard for 10 and everything. So who knows? Maybe it's a switch that's different in our brains or whatever. But yeah, we got to run it up. Everyone listening, who knows how long this will be around for, but you know, the people you meet, the skills you build, that stuff will pay you for life too. So, you know, there's lots of benefits and such like that. How would the operation be different a year from now if everything went right?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would just have better systems in place. By that, I mean, you know, I'm able to spend, you know, a lot more money per month, and also, you know, have time to like build the social media side of things and keep networking. I think that's pretty important. And you know, you guys have been preaching that for a while, but I've seen that myself, you know, I have people reaching out to me for like coaching or just a lot of questions on, you know, asking about how I got to where I am, and specific questions on sourcing and stuff like that. So I think that's a pretty cool side of the business that, you know, you might not think is super important, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Also, yeah, like I said, just systems in place to maybe not like be forced to spend, you know, 80 hours a week into a business to make what I'm making, but be able to do that in 40 or less, or even, less than that too, because, I mean, I'm already experiencing the freedom that the business offers, whether it's, going to a coffee shop middle of the day, or, working out whenever I want. And more of that would be great.
I was gonna ask, I see the Gymshark shirt. Are you an avid trainer?
Yeah. I love going to the gym. We only have one vehicle at the house right now, because I actually sold my car when I quit, because I'm like, oh, I'll be at home. The extra cash is a nice, backup for whatever, until I kind of get on my feet. And yeah, so a car would be nice, but otherwise, yeah, go to the gym as much as I can.
Yeah, I don't think Shark is on Amazon. I'm looking at
No,
it.
I've always wondered why they weren't, but they are not. Yeah.
Yeah. And they run a lot of sales and stuff too. That's normally how I buy
yeah,
all my
why?
Gymshark gear. So.
Yeah, I wonder why they aren't on there. Yeah, because I'm looking. It doesn't appear that they are. Yeah, weird. Become the authorized reseller. Have 10,000 people in my DMs asking them how to ungate, like when their website exists. Right there.
Yeah,
Damn.
the only way to get their product.
Yeah, they got. Damn. Whoa. There's some fakes. I'm looking at some fake stuff on Amazon too. Actually, $30 for a hoodie that retails for $350. Damn, and it was listed minus 1 day ago too. Interesting. Right there. Oh, my bad. So you're pretty content with just pumping OA. You don't you don't plan on expanding in the short term, like wholesale or anything.
Short term, probably not. Like I said, I think there's a lot of, for me at least, there's a lot of room to grow in the OA space. Like I've seen, like in December, it kind of like opened my mind up to like, wow, there's like so much more I could be doing OA. And like just getting to that point now every month is going to be the goal. And maybe in the near future, like by the end of the year, I'll have a couple wholesale products. That would be a nice goal. And because, obviously, like, not that my goal is to sell this business, but it just helps like the, reputation of the business to have these products, these wholesale products that are consistent buys, and, build equity in the business instead of just having this, cash flow machine. So yeah, and then in the future, for sure, I'll definitely like start stepping into wholesale, and, who knows what percentage of my sales are going to be wholesale in the future. And maybe that keeps going up, but OA is doing great for me right now. So that's the focus.
Yeah. And what are some big mistakes you made when you were getting going, or even recently, just so we can share with the viewers to help them out?
Yeah, right. Like early on, I think I literally spent 5-6 months without ever knowing what Keepa was. So yeah, what I preach on my social media a lot is like, learn the charts. If you're early on, learn the charts. You might have a couple $1,000s laying around to put into the business, but you want to be spending that on good inventory. And I definitely wasn't doing that. So I would have, even like, at the beginning of this year, like I really grew a lot from the beginning of 2022 to end of it. And like towards the beginning, I was still like, not fully understanding like Keepa charts. I'd see a product that shot up $20, because the sellers dropped off, but there was a sale. So then another 20 sellers jumped on, and then the price went right back down, and now I'm break even or losing $1 or $2. And I was doing that like often, right? I was buying these products, and I'm like, man, I'm not making any money on this stuff. And then kind of like, really started to understand, okay, well, I need to just stop buying those kinds of products. You just learn by doing. And then started watching a lot more content this year. And then, I'm at a point where I feel like I'm an expert in the Keepa charts and the data, and I'm making the videos, teaching other people how to read the charts a little bit better. So that was a pretty big thing that kind of prevented me from scaling at the beginning, because yeah, my inventory was locked up in either slow moving products or stuff that tanked, and, wasn't able to, grow the profits and be able to put that in scale. So.
Yeah, because I think like not only, you get way better at it too over time, like, and then you learn how to protect. So like the more you buy, the better you get at buying. So the less stuff tanks. So the more you buy, so the better it's like a whole self-fulfilling process.
It's also the confidence thing too, right? Because you're going to always continue to buy the good products, but the confidence to go really deep on the great ones, that's what scales. Right? The good
Yep.
ones are great, the singles are great, but having the confidence to be able to hit that home run when it's available, that's what's gonna really boost your trajectory. Right? To be able to go deep and take advantage of a 10, 15, $20,000 profit opportunity, that's what's really gonna scale and boost your growth.
Yeah, it's like one or two of those. I feel like for anyone listening, like one big opportunity a month where like 40% of your buying for the entire month gets done. Like something like that is typically right around that, like 30 to 50%. Different during Black Friday and stuff. But yeah, you gotta be good at finding singles, like find stuff every day, and then you gotta be prepared and in the know enough to find
Ooh,
opportunities when they come. You know,
I'm
there's a
tweeting that. I'm tweeting that. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I heard,
put it up
I
in the
felt it brewing.
tweet hunter. With that, what does it look like in terms of your setup with like friends, Amazon wise? Like, are you talking to people daily? Do you have a couple people you know Zoom with pretty frequently? Because I see you all over the place on social, so I figure you do, similar to the way Garrett and I do with our crew and such.
Yeah. I have a group of there's like 7 or 8 guys that
All
we
right,
do
toss
like a
out some names if you know who anyone I know?
well the maybe there's on Twitter there's Sam Resell King. I don't know if
Oh, that
you've
dude's
seen.
great. Yeah, I did consulting. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a group. So, well, Warner actually, when he hosted that meetup in Madison like last year, a group of like 7 or 8 of us got together, and now we do like bi-weekly calls, just like talking about things. And we all, I mean, a lot of the guys in the group started at like, you know, less than 10,000 a month, and now like probably half of the 7 or 8 are doing like 50 to 70K a month. So we've all kind of grown together, and we're sharing ideas and, you know, sharing leads and stuff. And then I have a couple of guys like Sam and a couple others that I like, Zach Cintron. We talk, you know, pretty often. So yeah, there's a couple of guys that I just talk to, you know, often, and we're sharing leads. And yeah, I mean, it's helpful for sure. Like especially like if there's a sale or something, you know, drops, and you're like, you get, like you said, the confidence to jump on an opportunity at this point. Like I know, like I can look at something and, you know, it's a go if I'm buying it. So, yeah, just having the opportunity to even have those products or find those leads is important. And that's a lot of it's through, networking or a friend group or a social circle that you can bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, Garrett and I already got pinged about one thing being in stock today. Yeah, it was like 30 minutes ago as well. Right there. And then yeah, I think we touched on a whole bunch of good stuff in terms of like getting going with different things. I would say, like, you know, if you're listening to this and you're brand new, like you just got to get going with it. You know, like gotta get your seller account open, you gotta get seller amp, you gotta get Keepa, right? And you just gotta start, you know, watching videos, man. Like Garrett started his YouTube recently, Alex has a bunch of videos, I have a bunch of videos. You're obviously in the right place if you're listening to this as well. But like there's really no one stopping you but you from getting, you know, the money you want and everything. It's just the right, you know, default actions every day, basically. You know, the right inputs, and then the more inputs you do, the more, you know, compounding you gain from said inputs and everything like that, basically. Right there. But yeah, Alex, I think thanks for coming on for sure. It was a good time. Absolutely. Where can people find you on socials?
Yeah, I am ACFlips 17, ACFlips 17 on all socials. You know, I post basically similar content on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and then YouTube channel has, you know, a bunch of longer videos on specific topics. So definitely check it out.
Sweet, sounds good. And
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Thanks, man.
yeah, sweet. All right, take it easy, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, guys.